Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. B, how is it going?
It's going well. Mouthful of food. Mouthful of food and a cup full of coffee.
That's
Great
how
day.
we do it. And ready for a day, well, a little bit of daily motivations, right?
Welcome everybody to the End This Season podcast with your host, the butterfly over there, and her son, yours truly. My name's Brandon, and welcome to the End This Season podcast, where we every single day at 7 a.m. go through a passage from the book Daily Motivations for African American Success. This is a show originally started with the acknowledgement of Black History Month, and we decided to read a passage every single day from Daily Motivations for African American Success, which is a book by Dennis Kimbro. If you haven't gotten the book, if you've been here before, then you already know this. But if it's your first time, then please go get this book, Daily Motivations for African American Success by Dennis Kimbro. Who we got in the chat, Mo?
We got KL all the way from another time zone and Brenda Davis.
So,
Says
Miss
good
Brenda.
morning and happy Sunday and all that good stuff.
Okay.
Thank y'all for rocking with us.
Thank y'all so much. How y'all doing today? Let us know how you doing, KL, Miss Brenda. What was Miss Brenda say? Great people. What she say?
She says good everything. I just sent that
Good
message
everything.
there for her. Good morning and good everything. Great
Good
people.
everything. Good everything. Well, guys, a little bit more about this book while people join in on the chat. Daily Motivations for African American Success is to help you focus on your thoughts, attitudes, and deeds that will lead to the achievement of your true goals. And 365 short, powerful motivations, one for each day of the year. Dennis Kimbro, author of the popular Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice, leads us to discover how to use the present moment and our own gifts to transcend labels, to cultivate our positive attitudes, to become wise enough to know exactly when to say yes and when to say no, and how to look inward for answers to life's challenges. So each motivation begins with words of wisdom from such distinguished and celebrated African Americans as Malcolm X, Marion Wright Elderman, Whoopi Goldberg, Charlene Hunter Galt, Bill Cosby, Carl Rowan, Mother Hale, Reverend Leon Sullivan, and hundreds of others. This treasure trove of practical inspiration will give you fresh encouragement every day of the year. What it teaches will last you a lifetime. This is where we build our character. This is where we build our mental fortitude, our spiritual resilience. This is where we come together as a community and encourage one another to go through the day and be our best selves, to develop to our best selves, to our most potential, right? And in pursuit of success, true success, not just financial success, not just occupational success, but true success. So looks like we might have lost my mom right there, but it's all good. So other people in chat, let me know exactly how you doing this morning. Scott morning. Looking at these comments. Okay, y'all invite somebody if you can. Let us know who you invited to the barbecue. So we always say that this is somewhat of a barbecue. This is like a cookout where you invite someone, right? There you go, Mama. How you doing? I was like, where'd she go?
To get my phone so I could share some stuff.
Okay.
I
I
left
know
it
what
on the
happened.
charger.
Okay, I was about to jump into the read. I was like, well, she'll just pop back in.
Yeah.
But again, welcome everybody. This is the cookout. So make sure you come get a plate, take a plate home, and invite somebody who you know is hungry for this knowledge and this conversation. Yep. So over to you, Mom.
I'm good today. I say let's rock right into it. Unless you want to, tell them about the day before yesterday. We didn't tell them. We kind of told them, but didn't tell them what happened. Do you want to do that at the end of the show?
Yeah, let's do it at the end.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that'll help us. You know what, y'all? We're trying to work on keeping it shorter because the original plan when we started this was to keep it about 30 minutes long. Is that okay with everybody to keep it about 30 minutes? Let us know in the comments. That way we get you in, get you out, give you a plate of food. It's kind of like eating a nutrient dense meal as opposed to a lot of calories. Let's see if we can give you something with just a whole bunch of vitamins and minerals keep the calories down. How about that? So, without further ado, if you're cool with it, Mom, we can jump right into it.
Just jump into it.
What's today? The
144.
144, but it was June
3rd.
23rd. Yep. So yesterday's title was "A Few Good Men." We talked about building, putting the man back in manhood. If you guys have any stories or what you experienced yesterday with that affirmation about being a mother or father to a young Black male, let me know how that went and what intentions you set for that. But today, on June 23rd, the title is Simon Says. Simon Says. And our quote comes from Booker T. Washington, a distinct African American educator, who said, "Success always leaves footprints." He said, "Success always leaves footprints." Leadership is the skill that is most in demand in today's workplace. The role of the leader, says Herman Cain, president of Godfather's Pizza, is to turn weaknesses into strengths, defeat into triumph, and obstacles into stepping stones. But Joe Clark, former high school principal, puts leadership into perspective. Don't ever follow any leader, he says, until you know whom he or she is following. All organizations, from the smallest to the largest, require capable leaders. But they also need followers who recognize dynamic leaders. There's a story about a young woman who wanted to go to college, but her heart sank when she read the question on the college application that asked, "Are you a leader?" Being both honest and conscientious, she wrote, "No," and returned the application expecting to be rejected. To her surprise, she received this reply from the college: "Dear applicant, a study of the application forms reveals that this year our college will have 1,452 leaders. We are accepting you because we feel it is imperative that they have at least one follower." The first step toward leadership is to follow the examples of worthy leaders. I'll read that again. The first step toward leadership is to follow the examples of worthy leaders. And that brings us to our affirmation of the day. And as you guys know, we read it 3 times: one time for me, one time for you, and one time for the person that you are going to invite to the barbecue. Somebody that needs this conversation, needs a plate of encouragement and inspiration. And the affirmation goes: surround yourself with the image of yourself. Surround yourself with the image of yourself. Surround yourself with the image of yourself. So maybe the affirmation would be, I'm going to surround myself with the image of myself. Let's break that down, Mom. What do you think? Let's go backwards this time. What do you think about that affirmation, or about that last line, surrounding yourself with the image of yourself, in reference to leadership?
Interesting, but I think, Brandon, so you know how we talk about we are the sum of the people that we spend our most time with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so we should be very intentional and selective about who we spend time with and who we allow to spend time with us. And it's not saying that you don't, that you're so up here that you can't, deal with anyone. Um, it's that you want to pick people, you want to be selective, right? Because energy travels, right? And so when you see yourself, however you see yourself growing, give me just a minute, Brandon, pick up. Let me check on baby girl. Okay.
Okay, sounds good. She caught me slipping. I was eating my toast. But let me read some of the comments, see what you guys think. KL Lang said, a good leader will pass on leadership qualities. That's not the real world, though. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, explain that for me, KL. What makes it the real world or not if a leadership passing on leadership qualities? Let me know. I didn't expect that twist at the end, but let me know. I'm interested. But I like the title here where it says Simon Says. Right? Simon Says. We all know that game. Simon Says as kids, where Simon says lift your foot up and you do it, or Simon says turn around in a circle and you do it, and then someone says, all right, sit down. And if you sit down without them saying Simon Says, then you lost the game, right? So how can you be a good follower? In order to develop leadership qualities, you must first have some type of example. And let's admit it, there aren't always great examples, immediately available to us in person. So sometimes what we can do is to pull examples from history, to pull examples from theology, or to pull from examples from people that may not be in our family or in our direct vicinity, or just someone we had heard about, right? So that's why it's so important, in my opinion, to read, right? And to learn about other people's circumstances, other people's histories. It's very interesting. My son, I'll take this for example. My son's name is Tupac Amaru Gator, right? When people initially hear the name Tupac, they automatically think about the brother Tupac Amaru Shakur, Tupac Shakur, right? The famous hip hop artist that was fatally taken away from us, right? I think in '96 or something. So, and an incredible human being, I believe he was. Incredible artist. Troubled, maybe, yes. Turbulent, sure. But very impactful, very wise, very strong-minded. But when people automatically think about Tupac Shakur, they forget, they think that name just came from him. But upon researching this different names that we were thinking about naming our second child, or really we had this name picked out prior to. We had the name Tupac picked out prior to having our son. We actually had the name Tupac picked out prior to having our first child, my daughter Kitsali. And upon reading up on the history of Tupac Shakur and Afeni Shakur, his mother, we found out that name. Well, I found out that name actually came from the last king of the Incan Empire, and that Afeni Shakur named her son Tupac. And remember, Afeni was a part of the Black Panther movement, along with Tupac Shakur's, I want to say, stepfather, the man that mainly raised him. They were members of the Black Panther Party. So you know that there's this resilience, there's this pride, there's this almost Black nationalists in a way, and communal but militant group, right? Which I completely support the premise of the Black Panther Party. But why did she name her son after the last king of the Incan Empire? Why? Because that man was a revolutionary. He was a revolutionary in a way that she thought that our community needed, right? So if you look up the history of Tupac Amaru, who Afeni named her son after, he was the last king, and not only was that the significant point of him, but he fought and in many ways succeeded until the point of his death in fighting against the colonization of the Spanish conquistadors who were coming from Spain and attempting to take over, pillage, rape, extract resources from the Incan Empire and the Americas in general. And so, one of the things that he did was when the Spanish were bringing over, slaves, basically African slaves, uh, Tupac Amaru and his indigenous people, the people of the Incan Empire, they joined forces with those slaves. They actually freed some of those slaves in the wars that they fought against the Spanish. And then those freed slaves and the Incan Empire and the indigenous people joined forces to defeat the Spanish or to fight against the Spanish. And then there was his son, the Tupac Amaru II, and then there was a Tupac Amaru involved in the Mexican Revolution. So when Afeni was asked why did she name her son Tupac Amaru, a name that no one had really in the Black community had really studied, and by and large, right? She said that she wanted to link her son to other struggles around the world from people that may not be from the same ethnicity, because she knew that people were people, that injustice anywhere was a threat to justice everywhere, as you said a couple of days ago, Mom. And she wanted Tupac, that we know and love, Shakur, to know that the resistance against white supremacy, against oppression, against imperialism, against colonization, that struggle and that resistance movement was not limited to just African Americans, but that there was a unifying um, there was a unifying aspect in the common enemy, a unifying aspect in the common values and morals of freedom and liberation that were innate to every human being, and that any oppression, any oppression um, should be should be eliminated, right? And so by attaching him to that, she gave him a type of fire. Names have power, words have power. So in recognition of that, she named him that, and in recognition of all the histories of the Tupac Amarus, from the Mexican Revolution to hip hop to the last Incan king to his son, the second Tupac Amaru II, who actually married um, and had children from a former slave woman, African former slave woman. Um, that all of these stories were connected, right? So that to me is leadership. That to me shows that, okay, I'm going to connect you not only to this man as your stepfather, who is a part of the Black Panther Party, but in your name, I'm going to name you from a resistance on the opposite end of the globe, right? And I think that is powerful. And so, with my wife being of indigenous descent and me, of course, being African American, we thought that it was appropriate, and being decolonization, decolonizationalist, I guess, and abolitionist, we thought that it was most appropriate to name our son that. So that's how we have tied it to that leadership, to follow that the continuity of that string of leadership and of resistance. So, Mom, what about you? I hope you. I know you came back in a little late. You're on mute.
Yeah, sorry, I could hear you though. Y'all, kids are so funny. Let me tell you, I got to tell you the story because I'm giggling inside. So, granddaughter, we slept. She's here, and we slept together. So when I got out, I do what I've always did. I have this big teddy bear, and so I put it right behind her, and I snuck out the bed in the room. So she gets up. She said, "You tried to sneak me with the big bear." She said, "You tried to sneak me with the big bear." I've been doing it every time, but see, she's growing. And now she knows why I'm doing it. She, come on, you tried to sneak me.
Wow. Wow.
Y'all, they keep me laughing. I'm serious. I couldn't come back so quickly because I'm just looking at her like, girl, she's growing, y'all. It's such a beautiful. You, grandma, you trying to sneak me with the big bear?
You trying to sneak me?
Too cute, too cute. Okay, so let me keep this really real. Let me point out a few things first. Are
Yeah.
you a leader? The question was asked. Being both honest and consensuous, she wrote no and returned the application expecting to be rejected. So
Right.
that shows her character and that she is a leader, in my opinion, because she wasn't willing to lie just to be accepted, because it says she expected to be rejected because she was sure that they wanted people to say, yes, I'm a leader. And then she had to realize, right, that she wasn't. And there had to be reasons she felt. I wish I could dig deeper into this one, but I guess in spite, the real thing here is that she was not okay. It says because she was honest and consensuous. So she wrote no, and she returned it expecting to be rejected because in her mind they wanted leaders. Um, and then it says we are accepting you. The letter, she gets the letter back. We're accepting you because we feel it's important that they have at least one follower, meaning all the leaders, all those people who probably put on paper. But y'all, the time when this book was written, leaders were so different then. You see that people were different then. Here's a person that said, no, I'm not. I'm sorry. There are not many worthy leaders in the position that they've been allowed to be in. People are
Mm.
emotional leaders, right? They don't have integrity. They think they do, or they pretend they do. Remember that day where it says people are not, they just tell the truth. So in such a good way, we don't get it. But I said we do get it. We just don't do anything about it, right? So Simon says, say something, speak up, because it's like the teacher. 1 year, one bad teacher to a student, y'all, takes 4 years to make up. So if your child has one bad school year experience, I love teachers, but not all of them should be teaching. They don't have it. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. And when you find out that I had that issue with Brandon,
Mm.
lady was crazy. Teacher was crazy, but teacher didn't know mama was too, or could
Was it
get there.
Miss Horton?
That crazy lady, I don't know what her name was. I can't remember it, but
Yeah, yeah,
she,
yeah, yeah.
y'all, she was off the chain. And so many people wanted their kids out of her room, and they were saying no. We don't have the space. I told the principal, you don't need the space. You just need a pen to write my son's name in somebody else's class, because we ain't doing this. We're not doing it. I worked in the school system, so I knew, no, we're not doing this. So Simon says, speak up for injustice. Speak up when your leader is not leading, right? Speak up, because you know what that does to the people who are employed under that leader? They take that stuff home, man. They take it home to their husbands, to their wives. They let that anger out somewhere. So this book ain't talking about the leaders of today, because there's very few worthy leaders. There are people who have been placed in positions just because they know somebody. And then they place some people in because they know somebody, right? And then you got a lot of unworthy leaders, not leading people, but messing people's lives up. But people need their jobs, and people are afraid to change jobs. They're afraid to look. People go places for years. I did it. I'm talking about it's tearing you up inside. And that's why when you hear me say I'll go to Popeyes, I'll sell hot dogs on the corner before I deal with it. I'll give you grace for a minute, right? Time to get it together. But if I see the same consistency and after I speak up, after, like Simon said, speak up and to me, right? It's over. It's a wrap. I'm just not gonna do it. My life, me, right? It means too much to me. So I surround myself with people who have the image of myself, who want to lead people, who wants to be a worthy leader. Let's look at some characteristics, 725. Let's look at some characteristics um, of a good leadership, right? Integrity. I think I said that. Self aware. Oh my gosh, that eliminates a lot of people right there.
Yeah.
Because and how can you lead me somewhere when you ain't led yourself? Surround yourself with the image of yourself, right?
Right.
You got to be exactly like me, but we got to be going
You got to know who you
towards
are
the
to
same
know what your
direction.
image is, right? If you don't
Yes,
know
yes,
what you are, how can you surround yourself with the image of yourself?
right. And then courage, respect. How many leaders you feel like respected you in your work or the people around you? Compassion, resilience, right? They should be learning agile and flex their influence while communicating the vision, not their vision, the vision of the company, right? Showing gratitude and collaborating effectively. So we got a lot of emotional, unaware, no courage. They're like little children who have been put in positions and they've gotten people so caught up, and that's who they feed off of, right? The people who are fearful. And how many of us are fearful today? So you're fearful of your life, you're fearful of losing a job, so you go with the status quo, you know? Simon says, speak up. This is cool. I needed this today.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
needed this.
I have something
So
to add to this really quick, if you don't mind. Um, have you all ever heard the saying that there are too many chiefs and not enough Indians? Right? Too many chiefs and not enough Indians. What that means is that if everybody is trying to be the one in the position of power, then collectively, no one really has any power because you dividing the cake up into so many small bits and pieces.
man,
You know what I mean? That you're not going to get anything done. And I want to share the story with you. There was a there was a top drug dealer out of New York, right? Whose name will go unmentioned, just because you know how it is. And he had traveled to China. He had traveled to China and had gotten certain illicit drugs and making partnership with them over there with the triads, right? Which is a number of Chinese families that do organized crime. And this man had no fear, wasn't scared of anything, anybody, nothing like that, right? And he said that the only time that he ever felt fear, right, was when no, I think this was actually China. KL said Vietnam, but yeah, Vietnam is very, very, very similar situation, I'm sure. But he said the only time that he ever felt fear was when he went to China. And it wasn't because they were big, bad, mad, and scary, anything like that. But you know why he said he felt fear? It's because they were so organized. They were so clean and proper and nice. And it was like you entering into Microsoft Corporation or Google Corporation, you know? They had different floors. Everyone had their own task and tags. And it was very, very organized to the T. Everything was very nice and clean. And so when he went there and he met with the top guy, the guy was very nice to him. They shared like coffee and pleasantries and things like that. This was very different from the New York scene that he had been used to, right? And in their conversation, the Chinese man said, "You know one thing about black people?" And he said, "What?" He said, "Everybody wants to be like black people. The way you dress, the way you talk, you know, the way you dance. You create culture, and the culture you create is pervasive. It's contagious, right? So much spirit inside of these people, so much influence inside of these people. He said, but you know what? They're so easily, why they'll never be powerful is because he said they're so easily divided. They are so easily divided. All you have to do is say that basically one said something about the other. All you got to do is offer one more than you offer the other. All you got to do is pit one group against another, and they will tear each other down. But my people, the Chinese, we can argue at this table, have it full-fledged out. But after we leave this building, we are Chinese.
Mm.
And we will always, always stick with Chinese. We will never give our money to people outside of or like prioritize people outside of our people. Whereas with us, with Black people, unfortunately, sometimes we would rather put the money out to another community than to give it to our brother next door. Why? Because he's our competitor. Why? Because he looks just like us. Why? Because he wants the same thing as we do. Why? Because we come from the same place. Why? Because we're divided. Right? It's too many chiefs and not enough Indians. Everybody that was Chinese in that situation knew exactly who their leader was. And they all would lead you to him. And they all had allegiance to him. And they all knew their place in the organization beneath him or with him, however you want to put it. But with us, oh man, we look at that top spot and we're like, ooh, I want that. It's like F the man until I am the man. Right? Now, how are we going to get anywhere with that? So leadership is good following. Remember, Martin Luther King did not want to be the leader of the civil rights movement. He didn't want to be the leader of the boycotts, right? In Montgomery, he didn't want to be the leader of that. But the people said, you need to be the leader. Why? Because you don't want the leadership position. There were people that was like, me, I'll do it. They might have been serving themselves, their ego, their pockets. It would have been easy to get them to flip sides for a couple dollars. It would have been easy to make them go along to get along, right? To stop the boycotts when things got tough, because it could impact their job. It could impact their reputation. It could impact even their marriage. But you know what Dr. King said? No. If the principle does not stand, if justice is not there, we're going to keep fighting. So that's all I got to say with that, is that sometimes you got to know when to be a chief, and sometimes you got to know when to be an Indian. And a lot of y'all ain't chiefs yet. You got to develop to that. You can't jump the line. It takes time. It takes character development. Okay? And that's what we're doing here today. So thank y'all again for joining us on this 144th day of the End This Season podcast, where we
So,
learn
Brandon,
these attributes. Yes.
I'm gonna be really quick because we do want to get off of here today. But I want to piggyback off of something you said about how we are up against one another. Basically, it reminds me of the susu. Right? There. If you've never heard of it, y'all. I've had two opportunities to be a part of a susu. Black folks will tear it down. One of the people who were in the susu ran up on a Chinese person. They had been doing a susu for 10 years successfully. And I'm talking about they are giving each other $10,000, one pop. Each person is getting it. And then they're doing their business and they're coming back doing it. They don't let anybody in who's not Chinese. You can't even get into their susu. And susu is just a sharing of funds to certain people who are at a certain level and it just keeps triggering back and forth, right? If it's done properly. But like Jimmy said one day, we as a people, we can't even live apart. So how can we live together?
Mm.
Like we can't get along in separate houses, separate jobs, separate bank account. We fighting. We fighting each other. But you know
Mama.
why we're fighting each other? Because
Mm.
you're fighting yourself. You're fighting yourself. You're not surrounding yourself with the image of yourself, right? And so you get mad. Or sometimes you see the person you want to be in somebody else and you don't admire them. You feel some kind of way about them instead of turning that mirror inward. Go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, no, you actually reminded me of the end of the story about this, about the black man that went over to China. When he came back, he said, "Man, you know what?" To his other guys, he said, "Man, black folks, we can't even organize crime." He said, "Damn, we can't even organize crime, man. Everybody else got their mafias. The Italians got their mafia. The Chinese
Cause
got the
somebody in the
triad."
group gonna go tell it. Somebody
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
just spill all it. Go try to get some black folks to be like a KKK meeting in the woods with shit. Somebody gonna tell on all y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody going to find somebody to tell. You're gonna have a sneak. You're gonna have a leak, right?
You trying to sneak me? That's what we ought to
Trying to
title
sneak.
this. You,
That's
you
I'm gonna put that. That's a new one. My
trying
grandbaby
to
said,
sneak me?
"Grandma, you trying to sneak me
You
with the
trying to
bear."
sneak me?
KL said he's gonna remember that one and use it. But I just wanted to say that about the things, how can we come together? How Ask yourself, are you a leader? How can you become a better leader in your own life? 12 ways. Set some goals for your life. Lead by example. Be fearless, which to me says be faithful. Expect the first parking space. Expect to look over to somebody and want their pen and then they give it to you on the way out. Expect God to tell some people to do some things for you that they didn't even know or even want to do. Expect favor. Then honor people. You want to be honored, you honor people first. And that don't mean you have to be a stepping stone. Embrace new ideas and opportunities. Because sometimes leaders will get stuck in their own way,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the ego leadership, my
Mm-hmm.
way. Oh no, you can't do this because that's something I do, right? It's like Tupac talks. Yes, grandma. Embrace new ideas and opportunities. I said that one. Question everything. Some people might not agree with that one. Question everything. Why? Because you are the leader and you need to get down to the root of it. You need to see the big picture. So question everything so that you have an understanding of everybody and everything. That's what a good leader does. They don't pick up the shiny new object every time it comes through and put it down. So monitor yourself. Do what's right, not what's easy. Would have been easy for the young lady to say, yes, I'm a leader. She's like, I'm honest. I'm not. I'm not. Find goodness and beauty in everyone and everything, right? And you guys can look this up. There's more, but Brandon and I are going to get out of here just
Yep, my phone about to die. I need to plug this thing up.
because of the sake of time. I have a granddaughter over here, and I want some how to be the leader of your own life. So, Brandon, we can go close it out, and I'll put this out there for you guys if you want to look. Did he leave me?
Nope, I'm
I
still
don't know
here.
what happened there.
1 second. I
Okay,
had to plug it
I
up
went
really
away
quick.
too. Looks like
I was just making
uh,
sure it wasn't me. I was like, my battery low. Let me make sure I get this thing going.
go ahead and get out of here, you guys. I hope that you've gotten something from Simon today because Simon says what to you? What is Simon saying to you today? I would say ask the question, what kind of a leader am I in my life, in my own life? Am I surrounding myself with the image of myself, right? And what does that look like? What does the image of you look like to you? And if you don't know, look around you. Look around you and see the people around you and ask yourself, what is their image? Well, did good. It's 7:40. So
Yeah, we did good.
I have more, but We need to leave some on the table for you to eat.
Yeah, that's
More
true.
time
And,
for
and we
consummate.
still didn't tell them. We still didn't tell them about the other day. But we'll be all right. They'll be all right.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
We'll be all
We are
right,
all
y'all.
right. It was a rough day, but we man, we daily motivation did. I'm not
Man,
lying to
we
y'all. We
we
kept
did.
bringing up stuff that we learned from this book to get us through. We saw that all things were coming our way, even in the midst of rain. We had an umbrella, right? And we didn't. It
Yeah,
wasn't even supposed to rain that day, but we realized we had an umbrella, and we expected the rainbow after the rain, and we got it. We
man,
got it.
got a double rainbow.
We did. I
Yeah,
mean, we did that thing, y'all. We did it.
yeah.
The evils of this world came like, I'm gonna see what they got. They've been doing 100 and some days, some daily motivation. They don't know. I'm
And
trying
it
to
was the
tell
day
you.
about the optimism, y'all, and we
Yes,
kept it. We
kept
kept it
it,
going. So,
kept it going.
well, all right, y'all. That's all we got for you today on this show. Thank you for joining us for the 144th day of the In This Season podcast with your host, the butterfly. That she is over there, and then her seed, her son, your boy here, Brandon. Other side, my other side, other side, other side.
I gotta go this way.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. You know
Oh,
it's opposite.
we get in
But
the
y'all,
center.
thank. Uh, but thank you again for joining us, especially the people that come here every single day. Shout out to Mike Arnold. The Mike was actually, I would say my father introduced me to Tupac, but my uncle Mike was the one who showed me, and gave me this really deep love for the artist of Tupac, and I'll never forget him for that. And I thank you, Uncle Mike. He gave me his CD, and I took it, and I kept it for. I kept it for years. So thank you, Uncle Mike, for all the encouragement and motivation, man. We got to get up. We got to go get some lunch together, man.
Brandon,
Yes,
can I say one quick thing? One quick thing, and you need to
you
be
got it,
quiet
baby.
so I don't have more quick things. Y'all, it's so interesting because Tupac, and I'll be honest, when I first found out that was going to be grandson's name, I thought, what? And then I came to think about it, and I thought, you know what? I like it, right? But
Yeah,
I've met so many people who got in my opinion, some of the craziest names. But it's how egotistic we are, and when it's different, when it's us. Like I've had people, some that I didn't expect it from. I remember one person said, "Uh oh, I ain't tell Brandon this."
all
One
right,
person
cool.
said, "What's wrong with them? Why they name that baby Tupac?" And they had a name that I wouldn't name my dog. Like really. But they don't think about that because it's their name, right? They had a name that makes you like, what was wrong with your mom and dad? Because that, but that's how egotistic people are.
Yeah,
Check yourself because you really are the reason that your life is being wrecked. Check yourself because some of y'all have already wrecked yourself, right?
wow,
So
yep.
it's just interesting, man. I'm telling you, take a look in that mirror. Take a look in that mirror.
Appreciate you, Mama.
All right.
Appreciate you. Mike said I didn't mind you keeping it, some of that CD, because I felt like I was giving you a book, man. You gave me volumes, man. You really did, with that, and I studied that, man, and it blessed me. It really did. So thank you, Unc. But again, y'all, let's get it. Let's get to it. The end of the show, where we go through the quote, we go through the title, the quote, and then the affirmation or the motivation at the end. And today, on June 23rd, the title was Simon Says. And our quote come from the distinguished African American known as Booker T. Washington, the famous Black educator, who said, "Success always leaves footprints. Success always leaves footprints." And we didn't talk about that, but when there are footprints, you follow those footprints. You can make your own path and blaze your own path, but don't forget, uh, um, the path that's already been blazed for you, right? Why step in the holes when it's already, you already know about it from the experience of other people, right? We can get a lot further along if we piggyback on the shoulders of the giants before us. Um, and after a brief message, we came to the motivation at the end, where it tells us to surround yourself with the image of yourself. Surround yourself with the image of yourself. You got to know who you are. You got to know where you're going. You got to be a follower before you are a leader, right? So surround yourself with what you want to be. You want to be a leader? Surround yourself with a leader, right? And then follow in those steps. So So thank y'all so much. We'll say it one. We'll say it 2 more times. I said success. Surround yourself with the image of yourself. Surround yourself with the image of yourself. All right. I love y'all so much. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us every single day here. Make sure that you invite someone. Send this when this link comes up live in the morning. Send it to somebody or tell somebody the night before. Hey, man, I'm going to send you something in the morning. I want you to be up at 7 a.m. I'm going to send you this link. Check it out, man. Let me know what you think. I want to get your thoughts on it. That's the best way to get somebody. Tell them, appeal to their ego. Say, hey, I want to get your thoughts on something. Tell me what you think about this. Oh, you want to know what I think? Oh, okay, yeah, I'll attend. All right, so do that for me for tomorrow, y'all. We'll be back here same time, same place tomorrow, 7 a.m. on the End This Season podcast. Like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications so you'll know exactly when it's going down. Love y'all. Take care.